Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for and what's up? With your host, TV Scouting MMA and the Guru. The Guru's not happy. He doesn't hear anything. He's not loving it.
I can hear. So some.
Well, we are. Yeah, I don't know. The Guru, he's feeling it, but we are here live together. Chronic Combat Conversations with the one and only Sean Orr in the building. We'll figure it out. We'll do it live. Screw it. But we're back. It's Thursday night, and we're ready to have some fun. We've got UFC 313, Alex Pereira Poatan versus Magomed Ankalaev, the UFC light heavyweight title fight. It's TV Scouting MMA. We're waiting on the Guru to be back again, but we've got the one and only Sean Orr, the Jerry Springer of the MMA space. He's out there. He's hitting big bets. He's live betting. He's getting you props. If you're not following Sean Orr for all of his breakdowns, one on like regional guys, people coming in, making bets on UFC events, you're not doing the right thing. The one and only Sean, how are you doing today, man? It's so nice to have you on.
Oh, yeah. I think it was my second appearance, right? So I'm glad to be back. Chop it up with you guys. Cool card, right? We know the main event is enough to sell the whole thing, right? But I think top to bottom, there's some really interesting fights here. So I'm curious to hear you guys' takes, and hopefully we meet up on some of them.
The Guru just met up with us now. He's back again.
And the Guru back again. 173 podcasts we've done, and 173 times, well, I guess 172. We've been back again. So, goddamn it, welcome back again. It's funny. I tried to say
it's all right.
I tried to say, hey, don't go live. You're like, are we good? I'm about to go live. I'm like, don't go live. But obviously, if my microphone cut out, you're not going to get that. So that's exactly what happened. But I'm back. I'm ready to break down some fights.
Too. You know, that's
what happened?
On national television. We just made this.
Right, on national television. Couldn't be any more embarrassing. But thank you, Sean, for being here. Really, really appreciate your time. And I'm really looking forward to breaking down these fights. And you know what? I asked TB on the spot last week, so I'm going to ask you, Sean, on the spot. Favorite fight of the night that's not the main event? Give it to me.
Oh, favorite fight of the night that's not main event. It's probably for me. Oh, it's a tough one. It's either Turner versus Bahamondes or Tsuruya versus Van. Those are two very fun matchups.
I love it. That shows that you are not a casual, my friend. I like
that. All right.
What about you guys? I can't just be the only one who answers.
No, I'd say Gaethje versus Fiziev would be the other answer that you didn't give that would have been acceptable.
Acceptable. Are you kidding me? My fight of the night is Lemos versus Lucindo. Are you kidding me?
Nice. If you're into very handsome haircuts.
Yes, it's the battle of the handsomes.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'm really, really excited for Brunno Ferreira and Armen Petrosyan.
Yeah, that should be another good one. All right. Well, if you guys haven't done the right thing, Daz brings up a great point. Always the best guess.
I got the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go. We bring you elite content. I don't know how we do it. I don't know. The Guru's good at it. We're nice guys. You know, we love. Even I've got a little something for us today. A little
what are you
happy
drinking?
Daddy. Little happy daddy. How you doing?
Oh, where'd you get a happy daddy? And Sean, what are you drinking specifically?
I think it's what is it? That Pappy Van Winkle whiskey.
Nice.
I've never heard of that.
Let's go.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, cheers to getting us to 1,000 subscribers. Come on, guys, do the thing. We're now putting out a Guru's Gut Reaction show. Gut Reaction show. And then also going to be doing a little TB's Tell the Tape to preview the following card on my Tuesday afternoon spot. So we're trying to give you guys a little more content besides just the best bet show to help prime you, go over the sadness or happiness of the previous event. And we're up 20 units so far in 2025. We were up 25. We had 2 weeks and only down like 4.9 for it. So, you know, worse things have happened. We battled back as always, and we're going to keep the good vibes rolling in 2025.
Listen, we bought a serious plus EV better into the building to help us do it. So I'm definitely feel confident that we can get it done and put this threshold back where it needs to be, above 25 units for the year.
Lou Betcha, he understands the assignment. I think he might be saying he's the funniest guy. I don't know.
I think he's talking about you guys. Guru, right?
I don't know what's happening.
With that goof earlier, that fake mic goof, that bit you did.
That's right. That's it. That silly Guru. He's always up to his tricks, We got Jerry Springer. Don't worry. We're here to settle all the beefs. And we'll be so thick you can cut it with a knife. Would you say that, Sean?
I would agree. Nice. I agree with most of what Lou says.
All the time.
And Josh is interested in some other things. He's hoping you start an OnlyFans. All right, very good. We're going to move on. And it's what the people came for. Shama. We've got Alex Poatan Pereira versus Magomed Cousin Mo's Ankalaev. And here we are. We're at a pick'em. The Guru doesn't hate it. He doesn't hate it. So that means I did an okay job.
I do like The Office. I don't hate Cousin Mo's. You've used it before. I don't mind it. So
yes, exactly. I'll go back to the ones that
at this point it's not creative anymore, though. But I don't.
Well, if they've got to go, would I change Big Meal Shamil? I mean,
no, that's the best thing you've ever done.
Ever. I don't think it'll
in
ever
your
be
life.
Tough. But the real question is at -110 apiece, over 2.5 -166, and the under 2.5 at +130. Well, how do we see this fight playing out? And I think there's a lot of questions to be asked on either side here. With Alex Pereira, the question is what type of improvements in his initial takedown defense, reactive grappling in sequences where he's already on the mat, and how's his get-up game improved from what we've seen him use before in the Jan and in the Yuri fight. So those are some questions that I'd like to see answered. And Magomed Ankalaev, how early and how often can you shoot? And how long can you keep it going for? Because quite frankly, if I'm a Magomed Ankalaev bettor, I don't want to find out how close it's going to be on the feet, because we could talk all day about how amazing Magomed Ankalaev's statistics are on paper when you're looking at like a distance striking perspective here. I mean, the guy's got 79%.
Is it time, TV? Is it time already? Early in the show? Are we going big? Are we going big mode?
We're going big screen.
Go big screen.
If I gotta bring up a specific stat, I gotta make sure you guys can see it. And like, damn, it's super impressive seeing how good of defense Magomed Ankalaev has. Until we start doing a little bit of an analysis of who that came against, and if we're gonna rip on Alex Pereira's takedown defense and his inability to do XYZ on the mat, well, then we got to talk about how we're building up striking stats against the likes of Marcin Prachniow, Paul Craig, Klidson Abreu, Dalcha Lunjambula, 2 times against Iwan Kudelaba. Let's see. Thiago Santos, the course. I mean, we could go down the list here, and it's mighty impressive. He does a great. No, there's like 10 more. It's mighty impressive. He does a good job of managing the range against these guys. Now, our question is, we've seen absolutely abysmal leg strike defense in that same period of time. So overall, I personally think that the calf kicks, they're going to start setting up a ton of damage. Pereira is gonna start creating Ankalaev getting into these situations where he has to shoot takedowns aggressively. And how will he react? We're going to see Pereira is actually going to have the size advantage. He's got 1 inch of height, 4 inches of reach. That's not typically the case for Ankalaev opponents. He's usually the bigger guy, or just about even. And when not, it's a guy like Johnny Walker where he doesn't really know how to use his range or his distance. And the pace advantage, it goes to Pereira. Ankalaev, why does he tap out last second to Paul Craig? I think it's a cardio thing. I think it's in the big moment when you're facing Jan Blachowicz in the title fight and he can't land a takedown for the first 3 rounds. Well, then all of a sudden things start happening the right way when your coach gets in the corner and starts screaming in your face about how much of an embarrassment you are. And then he starts turning the tide. We see him win round 4 and 5. But I just don't trust Ankalaev. And if you're going to go against the aura, the Shama, the whatever it is, and you can find all these reasons on paper to want to be on the Ankalaev side, but God damn it, I'm going with Pereira here. And I'm going to sit down on it, and it's fine. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. And it's okay to have fun in this process. As much as we're trying to make some money, like I'm looking forward to this fight like crazy. And it's going to be a good time to know that we have a great chance of seeing like Pereira. He could pull out like the sneaky submission of a lifetime. If he's been, Caio Bahalio, Glover Teixeira. He's been around a lot of guys that know what they're doing, and he puts in the work for all the travel he does. You think his team's not with him? You think he's not putting in the rounds? I don't think that's the case. I think he's still hungry. But
TB, are you passionate about this fight?
I'm excited for him, man. This one's going to be amazing.
I can tell. My God, you were just fired so much knowledge at us in about 5 minutes there. That was intense. I agree with pretty much everything you said, though. So no complaints. I think you've got the right analysis here. At the end of the day, does Magomed Ankalaev, is he going to grapple enough? Is he going to land 3 takedowns and then control him for enough time? And then also, right, because you can do that, do nothing on the ground, and then Alex could win a moment or two and then steal a round back. So can Magomed do that for 3 out of 5 rounds and then still not cardio dump or just simply die by the end of 4 and 5? And I'm just not sure. I'm really not. And I don't know how Pick'em versus a guy who's proven he can is just a good thing to do. I feel like even kind of last week, people are saying, oh, Suam Bayev, oh, he can get the takedowns. He can. Why? You see against somebody like Nicolau, right? He can't even get the takedowns. And then you haven't seen him go 5 rounds and do it. 5 rounds of grappling is just different than 5 rounds of staring at Jan Blachowicz. And then again, your coach shaming you and you finally getting a 10-8 round 5 after that really old man is totally gassed. So, yeah, I do like Alex Pereira here to get it done. It's always dangerous, though, right? Because you have to figure that the public loves Alex Pereira. So all the money would be probably coming in on him. And to have him pick him, again, you have to figure that the recency bias and the public bias is already baked into that line. So that's tough. But at -110, I think that's a fair number. And I think you have to play it. Anything north of that, I'm not as interested, if I'm being honest. But we've only seen one of these guys as a dog. They haven't dared to put Pereira at plus money. I mean, at least since it opened. So, yeah, Sean, without further ado.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight because, well, first I want to say, so usually I'm going to try and avoid like a high liquidity fight like this, a main event on a big pay-per-view, because let's be honest, we're competing against the best bettors here. And it's Thursday right now. And that means that probably a ton of the bets are in, even the people with bigger money, the limits have raised a bit by Thursday.
Yeah, on Pickett, it says there's already over $1 million of bets in, which is like a lot of money for a UFC fight.
And that's just Pickett, right? So there's more than that. So you got to think, since it's still Pick'em, there's sentiment on both sides that side is the right side, right? For me, I went into taping this fight thinking, okay, I cannot wait to smash Ankalaev. Like I thought for sure I was going to want to bet a ton of money on him. And I'm really glad that I actually taped it, because usually, because I looked at this like 3 or 4 weeks out, usually I would just start betting it slowly every day to get down what I want to get down. But after taping it, it's just so obvious that both guys are flawed, right? So you guys had mentioned it. Everybody's talking about how Alex has this very obvious flaw, right? He's obviously not ever going to reach a level of grappling that's going to be, championship level grappling where he's going to out grapple someone, right? It's never going to happen. But at the same time, you watch back Ankalaev's tape, and the guy his calf gets detonated in so many fights, so early in fights. He just lets his calf just get chewed to bits. And then he decides to fight. And it's pretty typical of these Russian guys, right? So he's got this ACA, ACB style where he likes to stay on the outside a lot. That's not going to fucking work here, dude. Like, if he's going to try and stay on the outside and use his jab, he's going to get killed. He's going to get kicked. He's going to get out jabbed. So he's going to have to wrestle. If Ankalaev wrestles, consistently, I think he should look like a big favorite. But I just don't care enough about this fight from a betting standpoint to like plan a flag. When there's way better spots on the card, right, to put your money on, and just kind of sit back, enjoy this. Maybe you're up a lot of money at that point, in the event, and you maybe take a stand at that point. But I think if you watch this live, you should be able to tell pretty quickly how this is going to go. And, I would rather bet Ankalaev live at -225 than to bet him pick him right now. That's how I feel when I'm like, okay, he's going to do the right thing. And I'm confident that he could do this the whole time. Cool. I'll pay big juice on that because I know it's going to win. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pass for me.
That is a scary and interesting point. I just get, you're right. Can he do the right thing, right? Can we PS5 video game control him and be like, hey dude, go for the takedown. But it's just like when I always feel like I have to bet based on what I see on tape and then kind of extrapolate from there. He loves the kickboxing, man. He loves staying at range. It's like, it's his bread and butter. He loves it. And he should be a wrestler, but he's not. They spend a similar amount of time at distance striking, like overall throughout their UFC fights. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's not a good sign to me. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Right? So only 28% of Magomed Ankalaev's fight time is spent with him in an offensive grappling position. But obviously great for him that 88% of that time is control time. Like, he's really good when he's in those positions. He's just not using it.
Well, it's also good for him that he doesn't have to rely on one thing to win his fights, right? So maybe he comes out and shows this incredible grappling, and sure, that's fine. Again, I'm willing to pay the juice live if he does, right? But I don't know, like, even watching his tape back, I don't know if you guys felt this way. Watching him wrestle, a lot of that wrestling was upper body. And if there's one type of wrestling that Alex can probably defend as a Muay Thai guy, upper body.
Yeah, 100%.
How many leg attacks did you see Ankalaev do? I mean, everybody keeps talking, oh, Jan took him down. Yuri took him down. Those were leg attacks. That's how he was getting taken down. It wasn't upper body. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how he wrestles and if he wrestles.
I also think to that entire point, a major part of Alex Pereira's game plan, which of course we know, is the calf kick, the leg kick. How easy is it going to be to wrestle when all you do is try to upper body wrestle, right? When your fucking calf is chewed up and your thigh is chewed up. It's not happening. You're not going to be able to plant to even lift. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, ultimately, when you see the takedown that gets it to the mat in round 5 for Ankalaev, it's not even really a takedown. Jan just aggressively shoots his hips back. He's old. He falls off balance, unathletically, gassed out, tired. Like, Ankalaev really only earned one good takedown at the end of, in round 4 to turn the tides. And then Jan was so scared of the ensuing takedown that his fatigue and lack of freshness at that point led to him on his back, and he just accepts it.
I have a betting angle that I'm considering.
What is it?
And it's a good number. What do you guys think? Like, literally fight to start round 4 -120. Like, I just don't, like, this guy is, and Magomed is, like, he's got a chin, right? He's durable. And we're thinking Alex is gonna respect him. And just in the fact that he could wrestle. And he's going to take his time to chew this guy up.
Yeah, it could be. I just, I'm kind of scared of playing Pereira overs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Or even then when we try to play unders.
But he literally just went over with Khalil Roundtree.
Exactly. And then the fight before that, when we take the over against Jamal, the fight goes under. And then we take the under against Khalil and the fight goes over. So I'm okay with it. Let's, if you want to find a flag to plant, then, I'd rather take it on the side than an over in this one.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, I think you are betting into something that's a little contrarian, which usually works out. I mean, it seems like the fight, I mean, it's at a 2.5, right? So it's shaded under.
Right.
I mean, usually betting the side that you don't think is going to happen pays dividends, honestly. So
I really appreciate that. I do. I think it just kind of takes time. If I'm really thinking about how I think this fight plays out majority of the time, I think Alex is respectful and methodical, just like in the Khalil fight. And I think it takes time. And I also think, again, if I'm just basing handicaps based on what I know, I think Magomed's durable. Okay, he gets subbed by Paul Craig because he's tired. Where else have you seen him in trouble ever?
Yeah, but when has he ever fought a guy like Alex, to be honest?
Never.
I mean, light heavyweight is poverty, right? Like,
yes.
So many of these guys are terrible at light heavyweight that, you know, a middleweight can ascend to be the champ, right? So it's tough to tell, honestly, if he can take a shot or not. But I'm sure he can because he's from Dagestan and they're tough guys. So I would go with it.
I'm not interested.
I'm such a, like, with UFC and with betting and just in general, I'm such a guy where it's like, if I can allocate more money towards something I'm confident in, I'm not really looking to have like tons of little bets. But if you're
really interesting,
if you're the type of bettor where you like, you know, to spread your bets, I think that over would be preferable to me. I would play the over.
I like that. It's a funny because I appreciate that because we're more on the latter side of that, but I think we kind of want to be in a sharper mode, which I feel like is the former, which is your style of betting. So I think we're trying to boil down that process. So maybe it's just even just somewhere in the middle, like a happy medium.
One way is right though. So like that's the thing. So
that's fair.
Me, I've seen that in my style, like when I bet more, I have tons of leaks in my betting style. But like, let's say like one of my good friends, Mike, Narco Cop, he bets a ton of bets, man. And he wins a ton of money. So it's like, it just depends, right? On how you are.
And that also lines up with how me and Guru definitely approach things differently. And our bet MMAs might line up some ways, but then how we play stuff on fight night and how it goes with live betting, like there are diversions. And, you know, it's all about your discipline and what you're willing to risk. So, yeah. All right, we're moving on. We've got the co-main event.
That was awesome.
I mean, that's a banger of a breakdown. If you guys haven't, please throw a like.
Sean, you're the man, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to Sean, man. He understands the conversation aspect of the show, and that's why we love him.
He's a smart guy. I like talking to Sean. He's a good guy.
Like Rafael Fiziev's nickname, I would say Adaman. The highlight, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Adaman Fiziev, minus 162 on the Fiziev side, plus 136 Gaethje, over 2.5 at minus 130, under 2.5 at plus 100. Oh boy, I feel like a few things have definitely changed since their first matchup. But Guru, I saw the show last one. What do you think about this fight?
I mean, this fight is as interesting as it can be. I mean, Rafael Fiziev coming in on a week's notice, 2 weeks notice in between,
couple weeks.
And he's a 162 favorite. I mean, that's a really interesting. What does that say about how the market feels about Justin Gaethje? I think just based on that sentiment, there could be value on Gaethje, especially when you think about the first fight where Fiziev is a line 2-1 favorite. But I mean, did Justin Gaethje just take, after have constantly taken severe damage his entire career, did he just take the one that could really change it all? Similar to maybe the beating that Gaethje put on Ferguson, sorry. Similar to that kind of beating. Like, I'm just really, really concerned about where he's at. You know, he's kind of mentioned the R word, saying things like, you know, I've only got space for 2 more posters in my house type of stuff. Like, I just don't know how much longer he's going to be in the game. And in a guy like Fiziev, who's just an absolute physical specimen, beast, solid striker, really good Muay Thai, fast and durable, other than obviously his unfortunate leg injury. I don't know, man. I think he's got a decent shot. And it's a 3-round fight, so the cardio concerns that I kind of have had of Fiziev are not on the table at the moment. Our guy TB, I'm going to steal his handicap, so suck it. He's the guy that's telling me, like, you know, these guys, these elite athletes, when they do ACL recovery and they really take enough time to do the ACL recovery, which it seems like he has over almost 2 years, you come back in really, really good shape because of the amount of work you have to do to rehab that knee. So while a lot of times, like Jamal Hill, where we should have faded coming off of that Achilles injury, it's like
we did.
I think. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I don't remember things well.
No, I took Shama. Come on.
Oh yeah, Chama. Oh yeah, we did take Chama. That was the best.
All of us.
Come on.
That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. We got, what price did we get on Fiziev, bud? -130.
Reporting live from. Let me see. I was getting ready for it. We got -130.
Yeah, so I'm happy with -130. I feel like we did our job. But am I nervous? Sure. Justin Gaethje's a dog. But I did pick Max Holloway over him in that fight. And betting round 3, 4, 5 KO was awesome. So, Sean. No? Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Fuck you, TB. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, sounds like we've been betting a lot of the same stuff because I had Max money line. I actually got reverse CLV'd on that because I bet it early, and then ITD, and then the round props too. That was like such a fucking awesome night, man. Yeah, this fight's cool. I guess just on principle, Fiziev was -225 the first run. Now he's -160. You guys got -130. So just on principle, that's probably a solid bet, you know, but because not a lot has changed, probably, you know, it's really probably going to be a close-ish kickboxing match if these two square up, but then you just got to figure, okay, well, is Justin's durability going? I will say, because I bet Fiziev the first fight, I got a good price on him. I thought he won live. When I rewatched it back, I actually didn't think he won, to be honest. I thought it was closer than I thought. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, he got robbed. I was like, that's actually kind of a close fight. Justin, it just seems like he has better. This is going to sound crazy to some people. It seems like Justin has a little better timing than Fiziev, and Fiziev's one of these like burst in with a combination, you know, and he's just going to assault you all of a sudden. Yeah. So it's just two different styles. For me, not a fight I'm targeting for betting, but I'm going to monitor it. I think if Justin gets up to like 150 range, I'll take Justin personally.
Yeah, I think it can get too close because I'm not sure that there's a finish. These guys are super tough, but you know, we tend to be big proponents that the rematches don't happen the same way, but sometimes they also do.
Here's the other thing too, is like Justin, and I know Fiziev has been training because he's a coach, right? And I know he's in good shape because he's in Bangkok. He's got all the steroids in the world. But Justin, you know, if you look at like his IG, man, the guy's been like putting in the work at that Onyx training center. Yeah. He's been working, man. So like, I don't think Justin's a punk where like he gets knocked
not at all,
and he's now going to suck.
No, not at all. I just feel like that's where he's been, right? Like there's to me, nothing has changed. Justin is Justin. He works hard. He's an animal. He's coming to give the fans a show. He wants a bonus. I get him. I really like that's, but he doesn't really change.
It's a fair point, honestly. And trying to go for the bonus, honestly, at this stage in his career might be ill-advised. So
I agree
with that.
But he even was saying that to that point too. Maybe the under's a thought because he's even saying he's like, oh yeah, you know, I learned to be cautious in the Chandler and Fiziev fight, and that only taught me that I can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean your wins? That's why would that teach you not to do that?
Yeah, I think we've taken irrevocable amounts of brain damage at this point. And
you saw that too, right, TV?
Yeah, I don't like that he's talking about going back to his old style, because the more you listen to him talk, it's if I get knocked out again, that'll be my last one. If blah, blah, blah. Like, I know every time I step into the octagon, like, blah, 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 thinking about the impact I've had on the sport. It's like a lot of like back thinking. And Fiziev is like, I'm so grateful that they would even let me get this fight back to try to get this win back. Like, I'm sure nobody's trying to fight this guy. He's been coaching a lot. And what that tells me is that he's been healthy to be back in the gym.
Yes.
And getting ready. And he's always been a coach. It's just kind of how he sets up his living situation in these different gyms. And there was even a dispute with the former gym he was at that, he didn't pay his dues, blah, blah, blah. So that's why he's kind of moved around these different gyms. But at the same time, I mean, we've never seen a fall off in the talent. What we have learned is you push a pace on him. And come round 3, it's going to get a little bit sketchier. Now, we've seen him have success at other times, but this is also now post-USADA Rafael Fiziev. I mean, I'm serious, though. He got a finish late, right? Like round 4 or something.
5.
Round 5. Thank you. Okay. And we see that, it's not just like game over at that point.
We won RDA, by the way.
Of course, but things slowed down, and that's what we were afraid of when we thought he would get wrestled. It turns out, RDA can't really do that anymore, Miscalculation. That's not true. Miscalculation at this juncture. You're talking about a former champion.
Come on.
No, come on.
Eddie Alvarez.
He beat a lot of other people in his career. I
asked you to stop this fucking animal. Come on.
Yeah, who the fuck are you, Guru? I'll throw you in a cage with RDA.
I love
and
RDA.
him being 40 pounds lighter. Kick your ass.
Weight classes. Come on.
No, I know. He's just been an in-betweener for the last few years, but you're right. I picked him.
You salty bitch.
I was salty. I picked him.
I did too.
All right. Oh, I feel better then. All right. But he was a minus 220 favorite. That's tough.
Yeah.
Wait, RDA was minus 220 to.
Oh no, I have it wrong. Fiziev was minus 220 favorite.
I was gonna say, there's no way I would have picked him.
Yeah, no, that's why we did it. We took a dog shot. All right, I'm getting over my salt.
Well, I'd say
I apologize, RDA.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Having to experience the Justin Gaethje experience for the first time, I mean, that's a whole different animal. And knowing what you're up against for the second time going in there, and now this guy says he's going to fight even stupider this time. I mean, doesn't that make it easier for Fiziev to do more damage early? Because what can we ask ourselves what really happened in the Max Holloway fight is once Justin got his nose busted by that spinning back kick, the whole fight changed. And I don't think Fiziev did enough early damage on Justin the first time for him to slow down enough by the end of the fight. I think we could see an early stoppage or enough damage where it's like, damn, Justin, you really should be cutting off those gloves in the octagon tonight. Fiziev seems to accept the fact that they're both going to have to go to the hospital after this one. And Justin's kind of like, yeah, I wish all fights would end within 10-second knockout, but, I'm hoping it does. But Fiziev seems to have accepted that reality more, where I think Justin's kind of at the tail end of like wanting to do this. And he talks so much about, I actually was in social work, and after my career, I think that that's what I'm going to get back into potentially, but there could be other things. It's like he's already setting up these plans. I don't like it, and that's what's changed since the first time, and it's been more concussive damage absorbed versus, all right, he busted his knee on a fluke thing, he goes into rehab, he gets a cadaver or a graft, and he's in better shape than he ever was from a quad strength perspective, bilaterally. I do this daily.
It's a cadaver?
As in like either you get a cadaver ligament or they do a replacement from your muscle or tendon. I'm sorry.
Cadaver. I was like, what? Oh, you're saying like they take it out and give it to him. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing else structurally happens to his body besides, he has to retrain it to do all the things it used to. The fact that he's at a high enough level where he's been coaching guys, like the knee's fine at this point. He took enough time. This isn't he had a ridiculous neck weakness and they had to do surgery on his spine. Totally different type of layoff. And in fact, for a guy that's been in Muay Thai and fighting for this long, I like the layoff a lot. If you have a guy that's still kind of near or at the end of his prime versus a guy talking about potentially being done, I mean, give me Fiziev all day here. So minus 130, we did our job. We're playing it to win 3 units. Sit down on it a little bit. Let's have some fun here.
Damn, that's a big play. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Balls.
Also, what I will say, and what I've been talking with Guru about is like over the time we've been doing this, we've adjusted our unit sizes here and there. And we like the idea of being able to play multiple units on a fight. But at a certain point, we're getting towards thinking about like a 1-unit play should be treated almost like a special thing at times too. So we've looked into like, do we up our unit size? And like, listen, I know there's going to be unit shamers out there, but we do this as a hobby. We have real jobs and like, I'm not trying to spend my paycheck and whatever. So it's a $20 unit. We consider, should we be doing 50 or 100, and when we're on fight night, don't get me wrong, there's like solid amounts of money by the end of it going out. And it allows us a lot more liquidity for live betting as well. And you kind of see how fights are going. You can adjust your plays as the night go. And if you follow us on Picket, you'll see that, I was up a solid off a $20 unit. I'm up like 2,400 last year.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, but the question is like, if you up the unit size, are you being more selective and how does it change your game? Are you still doing it for enjoyment? Or are you taking the professional approach and how much do you enjoy it? So where do your motivations lie, right?
No, dude, you're overthinking it. So like it's a scaling thing. So like I started at $10 units.
Right.
So like I did this as a goof. It was just I put $1,000 in during the pandemic. And I'd watched fights for like 20 years. And I saw Quinn on Twitter, Orthodox 19.
Yeah.
That animal. He posted something on an unrelated thing, and I was like, who the fuck is this idiot? And I clicked on his profile, and then I saw he had a Bet MMA tips, and I was like, what is this? So I looked at it, and I saw what betting was. So I did $10 units. But if you guys have like real jobs, like, come on, just up those fucking units if you're winning, dude. You don't have to up it a ton. Just do it like $5 or $10 increments at a time. And I swear to God, like once you hit that like 50 or 100, you're going to be like, oh shit, this is awesome. This is
and I've just been afraid of doing the rollout and having it go against me because it feels like every time you scale up, that's fair though. So you don't have to go straight to it.
I did it the other way and I got fucked. So like you have to do it slowly.
Fair. Okay. I appreciate that advice and that
helps. Winning money, win more fucking money. Why wouldn't you? Come on, use your edge.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. That's respectable. And our Bet MMA might say otherwise, but it also doesn't show you live bets, props you can't track on there, right? And listen, I wouldn't lie to you. I don't hide bets. I don't sell picks. So if you want to look at the picket and track everything, go ahead. It's all there. So,
I don't trust Bet MMA. I haven't done Bet MMA for like 2 years. I don't even trust it. It's just money. It's just dollars and dollars. You know if you're winning money or not. So like you guys are winning money. So that's cool.
Yeah. I appreciate that. All right. We're moving on. We've got the Tarantula, Jalin Turner, plus 110. Ignacio, La Huala, Baja Blast, Bahamondes, minus 130. This is going to be a super interesting fight. I'm curious before me and the Guru go. Sean, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I bet Jalin. I think that this is let's be honest here. Like, this is just silly. Jalin was huge favorite to Moicano, huge favorite to Hooker. Now he's a fucking pick'em or an underdog to Bahamondes. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. So just market wise, doesn't make much sense. The other thing too is if you watch Bahamondes' fights, he's not very good against southpaws. It's going to be tough for him. Bahamondes, it seems like he struggles with range against shorter guys, like short guys. He struggles with using his range. So what's he going to do with a taller, long guy like Jalin Turner? And then to your point that you mentioned earlier, I'm a big live bettor. I love to hop off of a position live, bet more into a position live. Who do you think has the round one upside? Is it Jalin Turner or is it Bahamondes? It's clearly Jalin Turner as the round one upside. If anybody's finishing somebody early, I mean, Bahamondes is the guy who's getting hurt in round one all the time. And there's a few fights where he gets hurt in round one. So I think that Jalin Turner is like pretty easily the side. I know the line has moved against me, but I expect it to flip soon, actually. I would be shocked if it holds like this. What do you guys think?
Guru, I'll allow you to be
Baja Blasters?
I'm torn.
No, speak with your heart.
No, I am. I am. Listen, I feel like Jalin Turner's a bit of a pussy at times, right? Like he will he'll quit and like he has shit cardio, and that's a problem. And he's got a 100% finish rate, so he needs a finish against a guy that is fairly tough in his Chileanness. And he's been sub twice in round 1. So to be honest, that would be the route I'd think. It'd be more of a club and sub type route for the Spider. So if you're going to play Jalin, why play this money line when you have to play finish and you have to, I think a sub is the way to do it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm trying to get my money back after betting Manuel Torres, because again, I did pick Manuel, and I'm thinking violence, and I don't know why I'm not thinking Jalin Turner violence. He's lost against fantastic competition, and Dan Hooker beating his ass, and Mateusz Gamrot out wrestling his ass, and Renato Moicano then out grappling and then beating his ass. So I don't know. Bahamondes doesn't grapple, so that's a major difference. And he doesn't have the power of Dan Hooker, or probably the
skill.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, man. Like,
he's more technical. Yeah.
What would Hooker be lying against Bahamondes? What would he be lying against him, honestly?
Yeah, he'd be a big favorite.
Yeah.
Minus at a minimum, minus 225. I would say at a minimum, minus 300.
It's easy to have recency bias due to the results, but if you were to put Bahamondes in with that similar level of competition, would you not come out sour on Bahamondes on the other side?
Of course.
Probably.
What about Renato?
Well, Renato lands a takedown 40 seconds into the fight, gets control for 2.5, 3 minutes. Jalin Turner gets back up, sits his ass down. He has post-traumatic stress disorder from murdering Bobby.
But that's the other thing. Didn't you just see Jalin Turner posted again on Instagram today? I had to fall back in love with the game. Like, I just like, ugh.
Right, but even with all that nonsense, Baja is going to be eminently hittable.
Yeah.
And I know, once again, like, oh, you look at his stats and his defense looks great. Well, I mean, John Makdessi lands at a 55% clip from range. And Jalin Turner's shitty striking stats, well, he's facing guys that are like crazy good. And it's like, oh, well, all these guys are able to wrestle him. It's like, okay, is Bahamondes going to wrestle him?
Bro, Makdessi rocked Bahamondes with a jab.
All right. I'm cashing out my minus 110.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't cash your bet out. Don't cash your bet out.
I am.
Why? Just tell
us. I told him it was Turner from last week. The line flips. And what we do is we place like placeholders on books where you have the ability to get an even cash out.
I used to do this. Yeah.
And sometimes
because we're not good enough to be limited anyway. We don't bet big enough.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, if you can't get to the tape immediately, but you know the line's going to be gone, you might as well secure it and make sure, right? And all I do come away seeing here is like, well, Bahamondes,
he's just so much more violent, and Bahamondes wants a clean fight, and Jalin Turner's not going to give it to him.
Here's the other thing, too, is you mentioned this Jalin Turner thing on Instagram. Are you translating every Ignacio Bahamondes post in Chilean?
No, I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. He's fucking on all these podcasts and shit, and I can't understand anything he's saying. I don't know what the hell's going on with the guy. You know what I mean? Like,
that's pretty good.
We know who Turner is, right? He's a flake after 1.5 rounds, right? So if you guys are live betting and you start to feel squeamish, just, bail and bet Bahamondes at plus 250 or whatever and call it a night, right?
I get very squeamish.
I do.
I get very startled.
Very,
very startled. That's a show. Right. That's a South Park reference.
Startled.
You're going to like these.
I'll be right back. Don't talk too much.
Oh, no. Wait, you're going to miss these nicknames.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm definitely leaving for these handsome. This is exactly what I'm going to do during the fight. You ready?
Wow, pretty messed up. I'd like to speak to the manager. We've got Amanda Karen Lemos versus Aladdin. Or is it Iasmin? You don't have to guess. It could be either one, but it's Iasmin Lucindo, minus 142. Her name says Iasmin, but she's got more of the looks of the Aladdin. Very handsome matchup here. The hairstyles are just everly abundant. Plus 120 for Karen, minus 142 for Aladdin. In this matchup, you just come away watching Lemos in any type of extended wrestling and grappling exchanges. The gas is not there, and the initial burst that can save her early just will not sustain. I don't trust her to be able to put away a fighter like Iasmin Lucindo, so I can't trust Amanda Lemos to win this fight. I think Lucindo, she can be hit, but I think Marina Rodriguez is even a bit more aggressive on the front foot at times, whereas Lemos is a bit more of a counter striker looking to intercept. And once she feels that she can out physical you, she'll get a bit more on the front foot. But, it's not necessarily a matchup where I think she's going to out muscle Lucindo, the younger fighter by quite a wide margin. And the more big explosive movements that Lemos uses, I think the faster she gasses out. I've seen people complaining about the types of takedowns that Iasmin Lucindo uses. I like that she goes for a high volume of extremely safe and low energy usage takedowns. She gets an extremely strong, tight, titty-to-titty body lock and gets a beautiful little outside trip, and she ends up in a half guard position. You're not leaving yourself open for a guillotine, and you're also not wasting energy shooting down for the legs repeatedly. Now, if that doesn't work, I'd hazard a guess that she has some other options in her back pocket. But damn it, she's strong. She destabilizes you, and then she goes for the trip. It's damn effective, and I don't see Lemos continually scrambling back up as this fight gets into round 2 and round 3. So Lucindo here, I think that she could have the ability to land more volume at range. I just don't think she needs to. And I think if this fight looks ugly round 1, you could jump in on the live betting on Lucindo as well.
What if I told you the fight's going to look ugly the entire 15 minutes?
It's going to be very handsome the entire time. So Iasmin Lucindo, what do we get here? Minus 120 was what we played. If you follow us on Picket, you'll know exactly what we do when we do it. It's currently minus 142. Guru, how do you do?
I'm picking the more handsome one. I'm picking the one with the better nickname.
That's tough.
No, it's not. They're both good. No, it's not. It's not tough.
Karen's kind of funny.
That's pretty good, man. Come on. When you get the picture of her getting choked by Jessica Andrade.
No, it is very funny.
It literally looks like she's trying to call for the manager.
Of course, Karen is funny. These are maybe two of your other. These are pretty solid. But Aladdin is Shamil is Big Neil Shamil level funny. Because can we please pull up a picture of Aladdin? She looks just like Aladdin.
All right, I'm getting down to work. I'll see you go with your breakdown. I'll get some good stuff.
Yeah, in this fight, you have to go with the girl who's gonna be faster and has a grappling advantage against Lemos, who's shown to be a turtle. I just don't love it. I'm not necessarily saying that she's gonna get like Jandiroba style finish, but I think that she's actually good enough on the feet as well to get it done. Like, I'm gonna go big. Can you? How do we do that thing with the screen?
So you want to do the one? It's the picture-in-picture layout. So it's actually this custom one here.
See, you're gonna have to show me how to do that one of these days.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when you're looking at it, look at that distance, significant striking differential per minute at distance. She literally lands a drop more than her. That's crazy. Percent of strikes landed at distance, 86% to 71%. The accuracy is fairly similar. I'm not convinced at all that Lemos is going to somehow outpace her. Sure, she has the power advantage, but I think the pace is actually going to be fairly similar. And with that, how can you possibly bet Lemos? You think she's just going to knock her out? Fine, bet her by knockout. Why would you play her money line? I think Lucindo has way more paths to victory. So I'm happy with our. Yeah, come on. That's literally the eyebrows and everything.
It's Iasmin Lucindo.
What'd you say, Sean?
Kind
and
of
the best part is Aladdin's wife
TB,
is,
shut up.
Yasmin.
TB, shut up. What did you
I
say?
just said it's just kind of insulting to Aladdin, to be honest with you. That's like a handsome man right there.
Yeah, I understand. I apologize, Aladdin.
Yeah. Shout out to Aladdin.
Shout out, Aladdin.
Fan of the show. I think the other graphic there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to be one of those people. You said you don't know why you would bet on Lemos.
Tell me.
I bet on Lemos.
Why?
Because I don't think Lucindo is good. Just watching her fight,
Woof.
I think she's kind of weak. I think her grappling's very overrated. Striking looks like a mess to me. She does a lot. I'll agree with you. She's very busy, which could win her the fight, right? That's her path to victory, is to be busy, to be active. But I don't know, man. Lemos has been fighting, like, these girls she's losing grappling to are a hell of a lot better than Lucindo at wrestling. I've been pretty low on Lucindo overall. I knew that there was going to be a time when I would bet against her, a little more difficult than people are making it out to be. I think that Lemos is very tricky. I think that she's very strong. She's super strong, man. Like, if you think that this weak noodle is going to be mauling her like Weili Zhang, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. It's going to have to be a round 3 type of, like, you know, she broke her down and now she's taking her down. That's the way I view it. But I think Lemos is going to be landing some hard shots on her, probably have the more visually appealing moments, and probably win a decision. That's the way I see the fight. But I know I'm on the opposite side of a lot of people that I know. A lot of people I know have bet this Lucindo. I'm not convinced personally. So Lemos for me. We're on opposites there.
I think you make an interesting point, because if not for anything else, which you made a ton of good points, but if not for anything else, but like, how would you line Mackenzie, Djorden, Lucindo? Like, I think Djorden might be the more physical, to your point. And with that, I mean, Lemos just beat her 2 fights ago. So last year. So is
Lucindo even that potent? I mean, go back to the Uruguay fight, right? Like, I mean, Uruguay is landing all over her ass. She landed on, and we've seen Uruguay hurt multiple times.
It's her debut, but you're right.
Finished multiple times, and it's not like, and Lucindo did land on her. She just didn't really hurt her. You know, she kind of buzzed her, but like, we know that girl doesn't really have much of a chin. So I don't know. We'll see if she can tank Lemos' shots. Lemos is kind of a man, dude. It's a little bit of a different fight. That's how I feel. When you start to, like, when these girl fights, when they start to ascend to that tier of, you know, top woman fighter, they have to piss fucking lime green, right? They have to be nuclear women. Like, look at all the top women, dude. Not a single
Cyborg, Nunes, yeah.
Shevchenko,
yeah.
Lemos, Weili Zhang. Look at her.
You gotta be nuclear. You're right.
They're all fucking doped. And then I don't know if this girl is. I don't know. I think she's a purple belt at best. That's the way I gauge it.
I think you make interesting points.
We're just head to head now. We're head to head.
We're thinking about it. There's been a lot of steam on Lucindo. But the thing is that I was pissed because I had seen plus money a week ago, and I said we needed to bet it, and we missed it for whatever reason, and then we got in at like minus 120. But I don't know that that's a good enough reason to hold position. You make interesting points.
Don't let me convince you.
You won't. It just means that I need to do more tape, but I appreciate your angle.
I know smart people that have bet Lucindo, and you guys are 2 of them. So it's not.
Hey.
It's not.
No. I definitely. I
think there's the trajectory aspect as well. Lemos, you know, coming off of a few title contender eliminator losses, a title fight loss at her age with the type of difficult cuts she's making. And expecting the fight to go the distance against someone that will at least present volume, even if sloppy and not the best. And I do understand wanting to fade Lucindo again at some point. This is the person that, of all people, couldn't knock out Iasmin Jauregui in a distance striking battle. But you also can't just wrestle Iasmin Jauregui is the other thing. Like, she is really good in that department where I don't think I would qualify that for Lemos. But I do think you make good points overall. And there's a reason why the line stays close, even with all the action.
Very, very true. And very interesting fight.
All right. We've got, this is Bobby Green. I mean, legal terms would tell you it's King Green. I mean, come on.
His
Bobby,
nickname is his nickname is Bobby, which is hilarious.
Yes, it is. So
wait, he changed his nickname to Bobby?
No, we did. You can't just change your name from Bobby, nickname King Green, and then just decide to be King Green and not think that your nickname is now going to be Bobby.
It's got to go somewhere, all right?
It's the transitive property.
Then you've got Mauricio Shogun Ruffy.
Do we still have audio issues? Sorry to cut you guys off.
I think so. I asked the third-party source, and we were clear.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It might be Wade. Wade, you might need to check your Wi-Fi, man.
Or it could have been when I loaded up the Aladdin thing, and then I closed it out and got rid of it. So I apologize for all the extra horsepower on the old laptop, but that could have done it. And talk about the horsepower on the old, you-know-what. Mr. Bobby himself. Oh, man, we're in a tough predicament here. I'm curious. Plus 330 against, the Fighting Nerd's disciple himself, Shogun Ruffy, minus 425. Oh, man, this is a tough one because realistically, if the reason this fight is minus 425, the huge reach advantage, the speed, the chin issues that Bobby's been displaying in all these exchanges, and in times that he's been finished recently, it leads you to go, okay, well, it should happen. It should happen fast. In which case, under 1.5 plus 130, Ruffy round one. But then you got to do a deeper look, and it's like, well, how often is Ruffy really doing it and doing it fast? And if that's not the case, well, you look at even in the fights where, we've seen Ruffy now with the stats that he has, it's not a lot to go off of, but technically he's not even outlanding his opponents for all of the dominance we're supposed to be expecting. Typically, when you get these overhyped guys with kind of crazy statistics, they end up kind of blowing stuff out of the water. You're like, all right, we have to kind of categorize it here. I mean, he's being outstruck by 0.5 strikes. In round 1 and 2 against Yontop, he outlands it by maybe, 2, 3, 4 strikes. Round 3, he goes down 23 strikes in that round alone.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's a problem because Bobby Green, if you're not knocking him out right away.
It's a problem at minus 425 especially. He just went to decision with Yontop as a sizable, I'm sorry, minus 900 favorite.
Right.
So,
I get a coconut for a head.
Yeah, listen, you're not knocking that guy out. He's not within consciousness with those face tattoos. So you cannot make unconscious what is not conscious. If that, you guys got me.
Does it? I guess so. I get it. Yeah, whatever. Do your thing. I don't know.
I don't know. It's
we're vibing, man.
Yeah. Let's go. See, I like Sean. Fuck you, TV. Sean, what are you doing at Thursday at 8 for the foreseeable future? TV, yeah, out of here. No, I love you, TV. So in this fight, I just feel like when you look at Bobby King Green's losses, it has been to really solid competition in that it's Paddy Pimblett with the grappling, Jalin Turner, I'm going to be betting.
Are you glazing?
I'm glazing. Drew Dober, who's a really powerful striker, was kind of losing that fight a little bit until he kind of crushed him. Islam Makhachev, yeah, that guy's no good. Fiziev, who we're betting on, and Thiago Moises, who's a decent enough striker with solid grappling. So those are his recent losses. I'm not even sure if Ruffy fits in the conversation with any of those guys. So,
but he throws a crazy flying scissor kick to try to get a takedown.
That was crazy. It was a sweep. That was wild. It was a scissor sweep. That was nuts.
He just dropped to minus 410 as I was watching the ticker live. They're watching Chronic Combat.
My God, they're betting Bobby Green. I just feel like there's if you like Ruffy here, and that's fine if you do, because he's 10 years younger, got a 4-inch reach advantage. I mean, these types of intangibles generally win you the fight 60% of the time, or even a little bit more than that. It's just he needs to get that finish round 1, round 2. So you'd have to play that prop on FanDuel, which I can pull up. I should have had pulled up already, but I didn't. So if you like Ruffy, that's how you have to play it. Otherwise, to me, you have to consider from a money line perspective that it's dog or pass, because I just don't see any way that I just don't see it, because I'm not sure that Ruffy has much decision equity. Ruffy round 1, round 2. Oh my God. I mean, come on. Ruffy round 1, round 2 is plus 105. So if you're playing him, that's the fucking genius way to play it, because he gets finished round 1 by Patty, round 1 by Turner, round 2 by Dober, round 1 by Makhachev. Like, when he gets finished early. Then you even look back early in his career, he gets killed by Dustin Poirier early round 1. So, I mean, I kind of like that just from a prop perspective, because I don't really want to bet Bobby Green in this spot at all. So I'm just concerned. But maybe if a smart guy like Sean says that he likes Ruffy here, I might lay a unit on round 1, round 2.
Nah, dude.
No, right? It's dangerous.
It's not just dangerous, it's just wrong. So
yeah,
irresponsible.
Minus 425 Ruffy makes no goddamn sense at all, bro.
That's what I thought.
Thank you.
I don't know, man. I think
I'm not used to it. I'm not used to picking big dog.
All right, so we could talk about like the market, and then we could also talk about just the two guys fighting, right? So the two guys fighting, everybody's talking about, and you kind of mentioned it in your breakdown, Bobby Green chin issues, right? Well, Bobby Green's whole style, his whole career has been to not get hit, right? So that's like his whole style is to avoid punches, right? And a lot of the guys he's been fighting that have been hurting him are guys that are throwing in combination, man. Drew Dober, Jalin Turner, those are the guys that are hurting him. They're catching him on like the, 4th punch, 5th punch. And it's just Bobby, he's just not quite as quick anymore to avoid every punch. But with Ruffy, if you watch him, and I saw actually the funniest thing, somebody who was telling me Ruffy's going to dominate all this stuff. He posted this like highlight video of Ruffy, and I swear to God, like everything he was doing was technically wrong in the highlight. He was like out of position in every fucking moment of this highlight. And I'm like, it's almost like whoever cut the highlight was trying to make him look bad, but it was his highlight. So for me, I think Bobby is way better of a fighter than Ruffy. Better cardio, more skills, everything. It just boils down to age, right? And then with age, it's like, well, how much are you going to price that in, right? Are you going to price it in this much? Fucking $4? $4 for age? Like, what would be the price of Drew Dober versus Ruffy, right? Honestly. Like, because Drew Dober looked like an underdog through one round against Bobby. Bobby was piecing him up. So, what would that look like? So, for me, I think it's pretty obvious. I played Green at like the Bet Online limit of $500, like at plus 450. So it's just automatic for me. Like, I don't really have to think about this too much. There's no way Bobby Green's plus 300, plus 450 to this guy. Yeah, he might get knocked out. Maybe Bobby's phoning it in, but I don't care. The line is wrong. So don't go crazy, but I would bet Bobby.
That's my problem, because even TB, I hopefully would even tell you that even before the pot, I'm saying, like, what about Bobby Green? Like there's a part of me that's like instinctually like almost wants to think that way, but I should really say instinctually I'm always like big favorite, gonna win, whatever. Like, it's taken me so long to get into this dog hunter mode, but I really do think I'm finally there. And then the other thing, of course, which I know is the tough part, is the the discipline to know which dogs to bet on. And I mean, at this wide of a line, I'm like, this, it doesn't make sense. The dude's not a killer. We can get plus 375 on going over to Bet Rivers. So I really like that shot. I just don't think he's that huge of a favorite. If the fight goes the distance, which it very well could, I mean, there's no way he's this big a favorite. Again, we've said it time and time again. If you're minus 200 or above, you have to get a finish. You have to. That's your line equity. That's why you're priced this way. They don't even see it. The over's at minus 166. I get it. They don't give us an over 2.5, but
still,
I still kind of like. I'd like to bet the over there as well.
Yeah. What does Ruffy look like after 1.5 rounds? I mean, the guy's getting tired in his fights. So
yep. So I love it. I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna do it now. I'm going big. I'm betting the house. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna bet. I'm thinking a unit or two.
I'd lay them separately on something you can cash out and you can trust your huevos when the time comes.
Oh yeah, but the thing is like DraftKings is literally plus 330 and Rivers is plus 375.
There is no cash out option in that case. Fair enough.
Yeah, and
Do you guys think that Patty fight looked kind of weird? It was like fishy a little bit.
I think he kind of got touched a little bit before. Like, there's a reason why he goes down for that, like attempt is
weird.
He gets touched. It was weird though, and then it's also weird the Grant Dawson fight. Couple sketchy occurrences.
I don't know. I just think Bobby is like really like that fucking cooked. Like I would love to smoke with Bobby. Like that would be crazy. But he's cooked.
I honestly think he'd be fucking annoying to smoke with.
Very quick.
Honestly, yeah, probably.
Unless if it could chill
I
him out.
love watching Bobby fight, but Bobby talking for like more than 20 minutes, I'm like, fuck me, get me out of here.
That's probably too much.
But that's it. You just kind of smoke and hang out for a minute, and then you're like, you know what, man? Nice to meet you.
That's true.
You don't have to hang out the whole time. You could go to the casino or something. It'd be pretty funny.
With Rampage. That'd be a good one.
Smoke with Rampage? That would be hilarious.
Good one.
That's a good one.
Shout out to Daz. We'll see, man. We will see. But if you guys are here with us now and you haven't done the right thing already, it's pretty messed up that you wouldn't have liked the video, subscribed to the channel, cost you nothing, busting our asses for the people out here. But we love you guys. So we wouldn't judge you if you did the right thing now and threw a like on the video, even if it was too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. All right, and we'll move
Never too late.
All right, we've got Curtis Razor Blaydes versus the Rizzler, Rizvan Kuniev. And take a look at this mastery right here. Look at this guy. Are you interested in the double chunk chocolate cookie? Are you interested in the chicken bake? Because I offer you one Rizzler making his UFC debut against Curtis Razor Blaydes. This one should be interesting here. Should be interesting in that I have no idea what Rizvan has done to earn this matchup at all. At all. Besides the fact that the UFC is just kind of done with Curtis Blaydes in general. So, yeah, they're just like, listen, we're going to do the Jairzinho Rosen strike on you. We're going to give you these guys where, like, they sink or swim. You dominate them. It does nothing for you. And if you lose it, it's an embarrassment, but you won't lose. But then we're going to give you the big power punchers in the other matchups. You'll die immediately. And when your contract's out, we're done paying you. We've signed enough Rizvan Kunievs to cut you from the roster. That's the trajectory of where we're headed for one Curtis Blaydes. But I think he dominates this matchup, whether it's a round 2, round 3, ground and pound finish. Seeing the way that Cunha on Contender Series is controlling, getting into the hips, and not finishing the takedowns, I'm like, well, Curtis Blaydes can do that. And then the last 15 seconds of the round, the Kuniev just kind of like pushes the guy, throws a knee. The guy's like, oh no, my liver. And it's not even on the liver side. And he covers up.
He's just paid to take a dive from the Russian.
It's the love handle scouting MMA. And I just don't think that a simple game plan like that, I don't think he's got the type of fight changing power that has put Curtis Blaydes to sleep in the past. And yeah, Rizzler is not on Razor's level, and he never.
That's why I hate. That's why I hate this. That's why I hate the nickname so much, because the Rizzler is literally the fucking GOAT. And
I mean, look at the body shape. It's the same. If I change this, it's the same. person.
Like I know it's just the guy sucks so much, and he doesn't deserve a nickname that cool, but it is a good one. It's just he just doesn't deserve it. So it's like really tough to. It doesn't fit him. You know what I mean? Because he sucks. Yeah. I just feel like they're giving him the kind of isn't this kind of what they did to Abus Nurmagomedov? Abuse Magomedov, what the fuck's that guy's name?
Yeah, they gave him Strickland.
Yeah, they just gave him Strickland. They're like, okay, you think you're hot shit? Here you go.
Big Meal Shamil, they gave him Jairzinho immediately.
Right.
They just hate Curtis Blaydes so much that they won't even put him on the main card.
Right. They really do hate Curtis Blaydes, but not enough to say we need to be able to. You need to be able to win a fight every now and again, so we can actually use you to throw you under the bus, because if you don't win any fights, then you're not useful. So he needs to win this fight, and then they're gonna book him versus whoever the fuck. Who they give him? You know what? Maybe they give him Big Meal Shamil.
I would be down for it.
It'd be really funny.
Okay. No, so even if he does just box, if he chose to just box against Derek Lewis, he probably wins that fight. You realize the issue comes when he shoots for the
he shot a takedown and got knocked out.
And then also, I don't think that the Rizzler, I don't think he's built for a cardio wrestling experience when he's the worst athlete.
This guy doesn't. I just don't really trust this guy at all. So
no, if you're gonna waste a unit, I feel like do it on Bobby.
And once again, why are you gonna take Kuniev money line, even at 250? You know he needs a knockout.
Yeah. 100%.
He's got 6 career wins by knockout. You're not subbing Curtis Blaydes. There's no chance in your Dana White Contender Series coming off that and coming out here in your debut that you're gonna have the cardio to out fight Curtis Blaydes here.
So on that note, Sean,
please tell me. Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about how was it Hasbulla wishes he was the Rizzler? Like the Rizzler's so much fucking cooler than that guy.
So much cooler. So Rizzler's the fucking Rizzler. The Hasbulla's fucking creepy. Yeah. I never really got into that.
I never understood it. And then Rizzler came along and just totally fucking
steals your heart. I really worry about him through his awkward teenage years, because how the fuck is this little cute adorable kid gonna look then? But whatever. We're just enjoying him. We're enjoying him right now.
He's got to stay fat as fuck. I mean, that's his brand. So
you have to.
Yeah, but he also has to keep the baby face. I couldn't handle him having a TV beard.
He's putting body butters all over his fucking face.
Oh Jesus.
His mom and dad are going to be screaming at him. Yeah,
not the body butter.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you guys a little bit, but
interesting.
I don't know play because I just want to see Rizvan weigh in. I think he got the fight because of the camp he's at. So he's at ATT. They can call some shots, right? So. I don't think it's a Boost Strickland situation. I think a Boost Strickland situation was an obvious, hey, we want to catapult Strickland to a title conversation. That's sort of what they were trying to do. And also Strickland is available in Vegas. Bring him in here to beat the shit out of this guy. It's a little bit of a easy win-win situation for the UFC. I don't think Kuniev is very good, but he is very large. I think he could stall the fight along the fence. I also think Blaydes, if we're talking about Chinny with the Bobby fight, I mean, Blaydes is pretty, and believe me, I'm a Blaydes. I've made a lot of money on Blaydes. I've lost a lot of money on Blaydes. I'm usually betting on Blaydes, but the guy kind of quits in his fights. He's a little bit chinny. So I wouldn't be too enthusiastic to bet Blaydes at -300 against a large person at heavyweight, because if he's not going to be wrestling the guy, right? So let's say he's just boxing with him, Blaydes is always going to be at some level of trouble, and it doesn't seem like Blaydes has been wrestling much lately, which is his skill set, right? That's where he wins fights. So yeah, I want to see Kuniev weigh in, and then I'll make a decision. But if he looks like, you know, he did in the PFL where he was like on like every steroid imaginable, I will probably just take the shot on him at like plus 250. I don't see the harm in it, honestly. That's just my thought. Like, are you guys going to bet Curtis Blaydes?
No,
Exactly.
Just saying he's the confident pick, but at the same time, what are you gaining from a?
I guess you're right. I guess I was considering a parlay, and maybe I shouldn't.
No. I'm good on it. I'm just saying he's the pick, and maybe if you want to get cute, you want to sprinkle round 2, round 3 knockout for, you know, a solid price potentially on a small play. Okay, you can convince me on like dig into grandma's couch cushions, grab a couple pieces of loose change, and find a prop that pays more than like plus, you know, 300, 400, 500. Okay, we can talk, but if that's not the case, I'm not as interested in having equity in this fight.
Could just be a pass, honestly.
Yeah, I'm cool with that because it's going to be hilarious. This will probably be the funniest fight of the night.
I would only consider Kuniev, though. For me, he'd be the only consideration for a bet.
No, that makes sense. Bet. I understand
that, and that's where I need to change my. And that's where I need to change my style a bit, maybe.
I'm not laying $3 on Blaydes at this point.
It would be Blaydes' worst loss. I do agree.
That would be very bad.
But it could happen is the funny thing too.
Of course, it's heavyweight MMA. It's interesting again because I have always said that heavyweight MMA really shouldn't be lined over like a minus 250 because anybody could get knocked out at any point. It's I think it's the most volatile division.
Super volatile.
All righty. We are cruising along. We've got the fearless Joshua Van versus the Force Awakens, Ray Tsuruya.
I want to defer. I want you to defer to Sean here because this fight's so interesting.
Fair enough. I was gonna ask, should I have done Everybody Loves Ray Tsuruya, or was the Force Awakens okay?
Oh yeah, no. Everyone loves Ray is much funnier.
I was also thinking about Sunshine because he's got the long hair and it reminds me of the guy from Remember the Titans.
That's decent.
Ray of Sunshine, you know, but
next time
that's actually not bad either. But I like the first one better.
I think Ray
really good Ray Romano impression that you do for us all the time. So you could have been with that impression.
Damn it! Could have been it.
Could have been Ray Romano impression.
No.
I was like, what show is that?
He's gonna do it for us right now.
That's do right. It. I got to go research real quick and see what I got to do. The Fearless Van minus 170. Tsuruya plus 142. What do you say? The one and only Sean Orr. What do you got on this one?
No bet so far, but I have some ideas. I just need to like kind of like make sure I want to do that. All right, so here's the way I see this fight. So I know for a fact Joshua Van is very green on the mat. There's like 3 fights that you can watch where you can see it. There's that guy, what is it, Devin Jackson on regionals. There's the Borjas fight. I didn't think he looked that good grappling there. And that's Borjas. And then what is it?
We saw that fight live.
The Felipe Bunez. There's just things that Van does, like decision making, where he can get away with it sometimes because he's this very like athletic, he can keep going type of athlete. So he just keeps scrambling and doing things. But I know from experience that these types of grapplers like Ray Tsuruya are very difficult to prepare for. It's what made Ben Askren win so many fucking fights when he came around. Everybody looked at Ben Askren and was like, look at this like sloth, like unathletic freak, and nobody could stop him because he just did awkward things that you don't train for. And that's what I see with Tsuruya. And I know people are saying, oh, well, he looked tired. He didn't submit Carlos Hernandez. I would bet a ton of money on Carlos Hernandez against Joshua Van in a grappling match, like a ton of money. I think he's like a significantly better jiu-jitsu guy and wrestler than Joshua Van because he has like 20 plus years of experience doing it. He's like a black belt. He's very good at scrambling. So nothing Ray did to him was something he probably hadn't seen from a few guys over the years, right? So he was able to kind of move with the positions, but even he almost got caught in a fucking twister, right? So he was even struggling. So for me, I think that like the Tsuruya side is very interesting, like a round 1, round 2 submission angle. And then obviously with every Joshua Van fight, it's, he might be able to cook him down the stretch, right? So Van has never been a round 1 guy. He's a very easy guy to bet live after like 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes, right? You just bet on him and you're usually holding good equity. So Van's always live. But I don't know. I really wouldn't sleep on this Tsuruya guy. I would not be surprised if he catches Van in a twister. Honestly, he might fucking twister him. So it's just really, you know what it is about this guy? If you watch him, it's like he's got a quick shot with his wrestling, but it's the duck under stuff he does and the stuff where he's manipulating your leg. And now he's like posting on his head and jumping over you. And he's flipping around this way. He's just doing things that, by the way, if he was going against like a solid, like, 4-stripe black belt, he would get in trouble for doing this stupid crap. But against like a guy like Joshua Van, who's probably purple belt at best, I would say, like, I don't know. I really like his chances to get a submission. What do you guys think?
I think that would be the path to victory. And it's the reason why I am hesitant to play anything pre-fight on Joshua Van, as with any fight in Joshua Van, and that if you're not live betting this guy, you're doing it wrong, unless he's the dog. We even took Cody Djorden pre-fight against Joshua Van. We're cheering our success as early as we watched it all come down to a crashing failure. But the moral of the story is when you're ready to jump in live and make up for your mistakes, you can atone yourself. It's just in this matchup, I don't really know why I would want to play anything pre from a money line perspective. I think they kind of have it figured out. I'd guess that as round 2 gets going, if we get there, it's going to be very hard because that means that Josh Van did something in the scrambles to avoid being submitted, and he's going to keep attempting to scramble. He doesn't have a cardio issue, and he doesn't have a quitting issue. He just has a little bit, he's a little too green type of issue. But in flyweight, and if you're not getting finished in round 1, you can get away with a little bit more of those mistakes. So I'll be waiting, if I'm going to do anything, I'll have 2.5 units of mine, my sizing, ready to use live on this fight. And when the line dips to a plus 110, a plus 130, as he's being controlled for the majority of round 1, that's where you have to dig deep down and be like, well, can you see this changing? And I think based off of historical trends, Tsuruya, he's not going to be able to keep up the same pace in round 1 as we get deeper in. He's not going to be able to. Round 2, it could be a Temirov effect. He might win enough of round 2 to where round 3 doesn't really matter unless you're getting a finish. So the other question is, if you're playing the round 1, round 2 Tsuruya sub, are you also playing the Josh Van round 2, round 3 KO?
No.
Fair enough.
I would just bet him live.
Undefeated prospect, he's not getting finished, right?
I mean, I could see him getting finished, but how many people have donated to these 2-3 Van props and not cashed on them? I mean, the guy, he looks like he's going to murder everybody until he doesn't, right? So
that's fair. It's only happened one time for him.
I would rather, and the prices are usually kind of shit on it. So
interesting.
So for me, I would wouldn't you rather have like Josh Van, like let's say Tsuruya, he puts them into some tough spots, but you just see when they disengage, like at the end of round 1, you could see that Tsuruya, like he's feeling it a little bit. Wouldn't you feel a little happier betting Joshua Van at that point at like plus, 150 rather than having, KO 2-3 at plus 600 or whatever it is, plus 500? I would rather have
right.
Personally.
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm waiting until the fight starts to play this one because I'm not on the dog here. Something tells me it's not the right choice. And I think we're going to get, if you want to get on the favorite, the right way to do it is when he turns to the dog. Good shot.
I think those are the two ways to play it. The dog, you play the early sub. Josh, you play live. If you only want to play Josh live and it never comes to fruition, then so be it, right? Move on to the next fight.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get sub right away, well, you avoided the issue, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. I like that.
What do you think, Guru?
I think you both make excellent points. What I kind of saw on tape as I had kind of felt that Carlos Hernandez's scrambling was better than Josh Van's, which is basically what you had said in much better language, Sean. So I just wasn't sure that Van would be able to survive all those positions if he had seen all of them. What I like about Ray is the way he chains the takedowns together. I mean, you guys are talking about, oh, he can't get this, it's round 1, round 2 sub. The dude shoots 3 takedowns on Carlos Hernandez in round 3. I mean, obviously he is gassed. He gives up 4 minutes, basically the entire round of control. But I mean, Carlos Hernandez again is a better grappler. I'm not sure. I guess to your point, it is a close fight. I know that on Bet365 at the money line, instead of plus 142, we can get plus 162. So I'll tell you that some money, I suppose, is coming in on Ray or feels that the line should be closer. So I'm not sure. It's an interesting thought. I love Van, and you have to figure most people are actually starting to get to know him as well. And the undefeated fighters this year have loved to losing their O's. So I wouldn't exactly be surprised that this guy as an underdog might be one of those fighters. So, yeah, let's wait to. Hopefully we can get him at a good price as a dog, Mr. Van.
Fair enough, Daz.
The two books that have the best price on Van are Bet Online and Pinnacle, which are the sharp books. So they're giving you the biggest discount if you want to play Van. So that kind of tells you something. They're saying, give us the Van action. Give it to us. That's what they're saying.
Why? What? So what makes you think that? So you're saying that they think Ray is going to win, essentially?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're taking I can't read their minds, but I can tell you they're saying like, hey, like, yeah, Rivers and Caesars and everybody else is offering less attractive prices on Van, but we want more Van money. They might have an idea there where they're like, we think Van money is bad money. So
right,
incentivizing people.
They're in the Van business in terms of trying to take bets on him, which is could be a bad thing. Yeah. I think that is interesting because again, I just think that there's a major disparity in that grappling, and the guy, it's not, and this is maybe a difference in the main event, right? It's not somebody who's just going to shoot a couple.
Yeah,
he's going to shoot many. He's going to keep going.
Well, I think that's different from the main event. You said different or the same?
Different, of course.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I agree, Daz. Let's move it on here. We got yeah. I don't blame him. He's in the park. He's trying to enjoy the show. Wow, the Guru really took offense to that, though. He said, "Fuck out of here." Messed up. All right. In any event, maybe he just saw that it was time for the Great White, and he just won't stand for this nickname from Alex Morono. But he has returned. Alex, the Great White Morono, plus 280. Carlos the Lion Leal. Minus 355. This fight, no, my God, I didn't adjust it. No, it's minus 800 Leal and plus 550 Morono. I messed up. I would like to apologize. I was going to say something looked totally off, and there's no way that much Morono money came in. And I don't necessarily blame the market, but there's no point in taking part unless you're trying to fade the narrative and say the fight goes. It's probably best to just sit out on this one. Leal, he's probably going to have the better pace, but we're basing that off of one fight's worth of UFC stats in a fight where he goes to Saudi Arabia to get robbed on the scorecards versus Renat. And you have to imagine this is the way the UFC apologizes to him by giving him this matchup. And Morono, we think he's cooked. We think he's done. It's all baked into the line. It's just, why is it like even money for an over under 2.5? Feels like a trap to me. Maybe the Guru wants an over as well. What do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. The over. I just don't know. I mean, is Leal gonna grapple? Do you think that he wrestles at all?
I don't think he would need to.
You just think he beats the brakes off of him, essentially?
I think he has more volume and he's got a wider variety of more technical striking than Morono does. Morono's a little more herky-jerky, and he tries to avoid extended interactions. Like, he tries to hit and move, get in, get out. Whereas I think Leal's going to be a bit more willing to land 1, 2, 3, 4, chase the guy down, and be the more aggressive fighter as well. So, and, you know, he's able to stuff not every single, but the majority of takedowns that are thrown his way by the guy Renat in Saudi Arabia. Got to imagine there's no way Morono's getting this guy down. And he doesn't shoot takedowns.
Did we bet Leal?
We did.
Yeah, I remember. I thought we bet him. Like, I remember being pissed.
Yeah, of course. And, like, that's the overreaction in the line price. And all the factors you could possibly want against Morono, they're all baked in. But it's like, that doesn't mean I want to bet Morono.
Do you think they're done with Morono? I know Morono's
I think he's done with everything too. This is
he calls fights for Fury FC. He's got his own gym. Like, I think he's got at least 1 foot out the door, if not 1.5.
Yeah,
I mean, they've been really good to him. I mean, he's had some of the most cupcake schedules since like 2020, late 2020. I mean, he fought just
Zawada, Mickey Gall, Semmelsberger, Rise McKee.
And he finally runs into Joaquin Buckley, right? And that fight was hell for him. And then they're like, all right, well, you know, Court McGee, Nico Price, somehow he loses to Nico fucking Price. How the hell does that happen?
And then he has a split versus D-Rod, which wasn't a split, was it? That was like some bullshit.
Yeah, it's a weird fight. Yeah, we don't – I mean, this is a pass, right? I mean, Leal, he doesn't just have back knee. He's got chest knee. Like, he's got acne all over his chest. I mean, the guy is just fucking so juiced.
Look at that shit.
All the Flintstone vitamins, everything. It's so bad.
Yeah, Morono's freaking doughboy, dude. Look at this guy. He's running his own gym, like you said. He's living life. He's coming here to, you know, make $75K or whatever it is. And he's smart, man. He's been smart with his career. Look at how active he is. He's made a ton of money recently. So good on him.
You ain't kidding. All right. Sounds good to me. Scary fight to play. We've got the legend, Myron Santos. He's going to have to do a bit more before he truly earns that nickname, quite frankly, in my book. But that was his nickname. Minus 305 versus Francis Fire Marshall, plus 245. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. I'm scared for what might happen to Francis Marshall on the back end of some of these punches. I don't love the way he reacts. I don't think he's the best athlete from distance.
Yeah.
But is one strength that you can approximate would be the one potential weakness for Santos. I just think, you know, the Argueta fight is an easy one to look back at, but looking at how Argueta fights on the regional, and this was down a weight class for a guy that was killing himself to make weight and deal with that pace, I can understand for Santos why things didn't go his way. I like him a lot better up here. He is a little bit shorter, a couple inches, but he's got, you know, the same reach as Marshall. And quite frankly, he's the way faster, more explosive athlete. And I think he has his way on the feet. I think he could win the damage battle in the clinch. I think he can stuff enough of the takedowns to win. Just a minus 305. Unless I'm taking this guy to win by round 1, round 2 knockout, I'm probably not loving it. And Khan, hopefully that fight doesn't necessarily tell me a lot. He had him extremely outsized in that matchup. So this is going to be a learning approach for me. I don't want to take the dog shot on Marshall, and I'm not sure I want to be rooting for this guy Santos to get a finish when he just pitter-patters his way for 15 minutes and wins a nice, damaging but clean decision, you know? Do I want to parlay this guy? No, probably not. Will I find a way to do it degenerately as the fights go on? Maybe. But we'll be looking for live betting opportunities if he gives up an early takedown and survives the onslaught.
I don't know. 2-1 on knockout is interesting to me by Santos.
That is legit the only option, right?
Yeah, because I mean, decision's interesting, but not as interesting because I don't necessarily trust the chin of Francis Marshall. He gets rocked pretty bad by Dennis Bazookia after dropping him in round 2. It makes it a really close fight. And I love Dennis, but he's not necessarily the most athletic guy. He makes up for it like with his hard work and his heart. But I just don't. I think Marion Santos is a different kind of beast, man. Just the way that he put out Con Ofley is just was fairly impressive. The dude's 24 years old. I think he's the real deal. So Francis is just not the same metal. And that dude's like just a dog. Like he's a dog. So like anybody who's betting him as a dog, I respect it because he's a fucking dog. Like he's who you want. He'll fight for your money. But losing to Isaac Dulgarian is just, I think Isaac, is a really good fighter too, but it's just not necessarily a great look getting finished there. So I know it's a different skill set, but
no, Dulgarian's really, really, really good, and that's a ground and pound knockout.
It's a different skill set, like I said.
Yeah, but you just discounted how good that guy is.
I did not. You just weren't listening, but that's okay.
I didn't like what was said.
I didn't. Well, I don't really care what you think. So,
Sean, what do you got here? Did you?
That's who I care what he says.
Yeah. Sorry to bum you out, but it's just not one I've taped yet. So,
fair enough.
Just off the cuff, though, I think that I'd go into tape leaning Marshall as a bet, just from what I know. But I just need to rewatch some fights. Yeah, I just know Santos he's a little bit green. He's got some deficiency. Marshall's been at ATT, man, like for a while.
That's true.
He's been wrestling in that room, so like I know how that room is.
I mean, Santos is at Extreme Couture.
Yeah, I mean, but ATT has the best wrestling room in the fucking country by far.
That's fair.
So like, I mean, if he's going to come out to wrestle, it's a good place to be. I can't make like a qualified opinion right now, so I'll just pass.
Respectable choice. All right. We will take us along. We've got El Guapo Chris Gutierrez -118 versus John Sexy Mexi Castaneda. Throwback to last week when we see Castaneda weigh in 140, and his opponent also weighs in, Douglas, but doesn't look so hot. So here we are next week. Castaneda back at 145. Chris Gutierrez was supposed to fight Jean Matsumoto, and instead he steps up for the short notice against Rob Font. So here we are, a little spaghetti thrown together last second because we forgot to cook a normal dinner. And Castaneda, I think he's having the tougher end of it from a turnaround perspective, given he had to weigh in, go through some of the fight week stuff. Whereas Gutierrez, he had a little bit of a switcheroo ahead of time. And knowing it's the large octagon and the biggest advantage for Castaneda comes from his wrestling, got to lean towards the guy that's going to try to play it safe and keep his distance. So, Guru, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I think I like Chris Gutierrez in this spot. I just feel like John Castaneda needs to wrestle, which I feel like has just been the theme of the night this week. And I don't know that John Castaneda is going to wrestle as much as he might need to. I feel like the calf kicks and Chris Gutierrez weasel style in this large octagon is going to work fairly well for him. I think if you're losing to Daniel Marcos, I feel like that's like Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper Light. It's like the same thing. So I like Chris Gutierrez here, but maybe I'm nutty. I don't necessarily feel like it's a fight you absolutely have to stake your money in because over 2.5 minus 330. They feel like it's going the distance. And if it does, you know how I feel about those judges. They're not watching the fights. So I feel like if there's value on anything, it might just be an under, because you've seen Castaneda gas out and get finished versus Daniel Santos. And it'd be really funny to watch Chris Gutierrez get another leg kick KO. So, but obviously he's got really all the finish upside. Gutierrez has been submitted once, but yeah, it was by Hani Barcelos in 2018. That's an interesting one. So, what do you think?
Mushrooms cracking me up.
Yeah.
Dare be doing that. Don't you dare be doing that stuff, Mushroom. That's illegal.
Yeah.
I bet Castaneda. I got reversed a little bit. So for me, there's like a few things. So for me, never been a huge Gutierrez guy. He's very one-dimensional, just tries to fucking play footsie and run away. So like, I don't think he's particularly that skilled, to be honest with you. He's really good at like what he does, but I feel like Castaneda has the more well-rounded skill set, but more importantly, Castaneda is able to switch to southpaw. So he can fight out of southpaw, which then makes it so that Gutierrez isn't going to really be calf kicking from his favorable side. Sometimes Gutierrez will switch stances and like when somebody goes southpaw on him and try and calf kick, but he's definitely not as good fighting out of that stance. So I personally think that the fact that Castaneda has tools that can kind of neutralize some of Gutierrez's actually his only good attribute, which is calf kicking. I think that it makes the fight pretty interesting for the Castaneda side. So I bet him. Castaneda had a teammate who fought against Gutierrez too. Who is it? And that guy sucks. What is his name? Hold on.
Oh, Quang Bang.
Dude, that guy.
Quang Bang Lee.
He is not good.
No, didn't he win a round?
Castaneda or Gutierrez had some trouble with him. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Quang Lee. I've the amount of times I've faded him on the regionals and lost money just barely has been so annoying.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's not good. So, well, I don't want to say he's terrible. He's just because that's just rude. I just don't think he's not UFC level at all.
Do you think Chris Gutierrez avoided one loss or two losses in not fighting Basharat and Matsumoto? I think for sure he loses to Matsumoto. I just don't know if he loses to Basharat.
Dude, that Basharat fight would be horrible. They'd just be playing footsie at range for 3 rounds. Oh my god. Yeah. Think about Gutierrez's fights, man. Going to a split with Colares, like, dude, the motherfucker got. Hold on, dude, this motherfucker got taken down by Andre Ewell. Like, let's be real here.
Where has that guy been? Did he get cut?
Yeah, I had the same thought when I rewatched the fight and I went to his IG. He's been fighting, regionals. Yeah, he seems like very dad oriented right now, but the Bakary fight, Dana. I mean, that was a meme. He was getting his ass kicked the whole fight. So Pedro Munoz bet him against. I bet him. That was great. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not a huge Gutierrez fan, man. And also in that Quang Lee fight, did you guys not feel like his movement? He looked like he kind of lost the step a little bit. It seemed like he wasn't quite as because dude, the way he fights is he really has to fight perfect to win. You know what I mean? And if you can't move perfectly, like you're going to start taking some head strikes, and he clearly doesn't like that, dude. There's a reason why the guy fights this way. He's trying to avoid a fight. So,
and true, and in all fairness, the things I will say about that matchup are, one, it was in the Apex, and two, Quang Bang stepped up on less than a week's notice. So it's a guy that he wasn't really preparing for, and 5 feet less each direction to work with. So I think Gutierrez in this spot, Castaneda looked just as slow and confused about what to do with the speed of Daniel Marcos. So I don't think either guy's really in their so-called prime. And Kyung-Oh Kong, I mean, talk about beating a guy that's been unimpressive in a multitude of ways recently.
Yeah, it's not a great win.
You know, I mean, like, listen, Castaneda, I do like that he's been willing to get after offensive takedown approach. It's just against guys where he can't really close the distance to get there or out-muscle them like a Miles Johns, which, you know, that it ends up working in his favor because Miles melts down the stretch, but that's a guy he can't wrestle. So you see Johns doesn't have cardio. Well, Gutierrez, I think he has cardio. And I think he can pitter-patter outstrike him from distance. But I could see the world where Castaneda does this thing. So this is a tough one, man. It's a tough
fight, man. But do you guys honestly think so? Daniel Marcos is way more well-rounded than Gutierrez. He throws a lot more.
They're both 33.
Diversity of strikes, I feel like. Gutierrez is just calf kicks. I mean, it's just calf kicks. That's all it is the whole fucking time. Calf kick, run away.
I just don't like. This is just how I feel about it. If I'm just going to be honest, like, do you think John Castaneda finishes Chris Gutierrez?
Potentially.
I don't think so at all.
Fair enough.
You had 0% chance.
Yeah.
He
finishes
the KO.
No, dude. I mean, 12.5%. I mean, maybe what? I mean, you'd have to. If you give me a plus 800 on a finish, okay, maybe. But he finishes Eddie Wineland by round 1 knockout. He gets arm triangle chokes late on Marcelo Rojo and Miles John, who was shooting him for a takedown.
Elite.
Exactly. It was ridiculous. So exactly. So, and then otherwise it's decision city or losing or gassing out and getting knocked out. So I just don't see it. Who do you want to
bet on, though? The guy who wants to fight or the guy who's going to run away the whole fucking time? Anytime he fights anybody who's going to fight him, he either like gets super lucky or loses.
I just think even John Castaneda's, continual press forward style is going to look worse. The optics won't be good as the calf kick just continues to wear on him.
What if he's southpaw?
Gutierrez can switch stance, and his type of kicks, he kind of lands. It doesn't really matter the stance you throw at him as much.
If you're a calf kick merchant, you deliver your calf kicks.
Well,
there's certain guys who are just
when he fights southpaws, he sometimes switches, but he's way worse in the opposite stance. He's not the same guy.
That's fair. You do have to kind of adjust where you're throwing the kick depending on it, but the fact of the matter is he lands 50% of his total strikes to the legs. He's not changing that for this matchup because of this stance.
That's his whole game, man. It
is
calf kicks, bro. I hate it. Maybe I'm just a hater, and it's color.
No, it's a close fight.
Well, Jean Matsumoto was going to be a maximal bet if he actually got to fight Chris Gutierrez. That's my feelings.
Yeah, he's violent. He was too violent, and he could hurt him in the clinch. There's no grappling. I just don't. Is Castaneda going to do it? Do it successfully? And if he does it, is he going to gas himself out?
It's a toughie.
So at Pick'em, this is the real truth. It's going to decision. The judges aren't watching. The 3 people that matter aren't fucking watching. They're on TikTok. They're jerking off. They're picking their nose. They're not watching. They just turn in scorecards because they're getting paid to. Good luck.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did you guys notice that it's you might have already said it, but El Guapo is handsome, right? And then Sexy Mexi, handsome versus the sexy Mexi.
This is tough.
There's a lot of sexual power in this fight.
Big time. I'm glad that they put it together.
Can I ask you guys a question? Am I crazy or did we miss Brunno Ferreira fight?
We did.
Oh my God. What happened? I guess we must have double clicked. I'd like to apologize.
I don't know if I was drunk or something. Like
we did,
but that's okay.
Two beers. But
that's not that bad. All right, but all right, here we go. Second to last breakdown. Then we have Brunno the Hulky Ferreira plus 120 and Armen Superman Petrosyan minus 142. This is another one of those matchups.
Another one of those
where it's all dependent on, there could be a couple factors, and is this guy going to wrestle or is he not? Armen Petrosyan, Brunno, if anybody. Armen Petrosyan, he is a few inches taller, 5 inches, but the 1 inch reach advantage goes to the somehow disgustingly long-armed Brunno Ferreira here. And we see he likes to switch stances. He's got good kicks. He can throw in combination. He'll switch stances mid-combination to even make up some of that distance with the reach. Petrosyan, tons of kicks at every single level. Not really as much of a boxer, and he loves to throw kicks, but, he'll mix it up a little bit. I just don't love his hands as much. And that's where I think it's going to be a problem for him, because I think Brunno is more explosive of an athlete. I think he lands with a lot more damage. And if anyone had a wrestling threat, it's Brunno. And if you have a wrestling threat, that's what can stifle Brunno. But Armen doesn't have that. And you see how Magomedov wanted nothing from the distance striking as the fight wears on. And he continually resorts to the takedowns to put a stamp on the fight. That's not a path to victory for Armen Petrosyan. So if this fight's purely a kickboxing match, I think Ferreira's pretty good. I am impressed with his technical ability. I think he's got way more power and finishing potential. And I think any things of his cardio are overblown if the wrestling's not involved. I think this guy could strike from distance for 15 against someone that's not landing a ton of damage. So Petrosyan, you getting double spinning back fist, while it was beautiful for us betting on Shara Magomedov, it's not beautiful to know what Michael Venom Page did to the same opponent. So I already know your athleticism is on a different level and your fight IQ is on a much lower level than like someone good enough to put a stamp against Shara. And the fact that, man, I know he's having some success here and there, but there was no stamp being put on that fight, and we were on our way to a Shara decision if Petrosyan didn't get knocked out. So Brunno, I think he can get a knockout. I think he can wrestle if it gets to that point. But I think he can even win on volume if his power mutes the volume of Petrosyan, Temerov style. But we'll see. I think this is going to be a fun one. I got to take the dog here.
That's just kind of how I lean as well. I'm kind of interested just in the way that Brunno Ferreira throws punches in combination, like kind of while marching forward. And Armen Petrosyan is just a kickboxer who wants it a clean fight at range. And you've just kind of watched him in back-to-back fights get finished. Obviously, the Rodolfo Ferreira fight, he really just couldn't keep him off him at all. And the Shara Magomedov fight, I mean, it's a low-volume kickboxing fight. It's exactly what he wants, and he still can't get it done. He gets knocked out, too, which is crazy. You really thought it should go the distance, but he lost his durability there. He gets hit with a double spinning back fist, which is nuts. I think something similarly unpredictable could be coming from Brunno Ferreira. So I'm certainly interested in him as a dog. So, yeah. What do you think there, Sean?
Yeah, I did a brief tape of this fight, right? And for me, I'm just going to wait to see where the line goes. I think if we start to, because I kind of knew this was going to happen. I knew people were going to bet Brunno. I think if we get closer to even money near fight time, I would rather have Petrosyan. I think he's a better kickboxer. I don't think Brunno is going to get takedowns. If Kaio,
I think he has better cardio too.
Yeah, if Kaio can't submit Petrosyan, I don't think fucking Brunno is going to. So, yeah, 15 minutes of kickboxing. Give me the guy who's, that's what he's done his whole life versus the guy who's a big swinger. So, but I want to monitor the line. I mean, obviously everybody's going to bet Brunno. I've been hearing nothing but Brunno all week. So I'll just wait and see.
Yeah,
I lean him to win the decision, though.
Yeah, I think to your point that Armen certainly has displayed better cardio, right? I mean, going the distance with Duncan, going the distance with Jobson, going the distance with Bahalio, going the distance with Rodriguez. So
I do ask though, where are the fights where we've seen Brunno have bad cardio? I'm just doing an exercise here. Where are the ones that you would identify?
The boost fight.
Okay, and what's the other one? Is there another one that you?
No, because that's the other problem. Well, so that's the problem. So the one
but the
time he's gone late
is 4 takedowns on 8 attempts. Like, is Armen pushing a grappling pace to gas him out?
No.
Okay, so why do we think? I mean, are there other instances where we saw him gas out that we would know this? I'm just curious. I'm just asking.
I felt like he was slowing down against Stoltzfus.
Okay, one of 2 takedown attempts for 2 submission attempts and 90 seconds of control in less than 1 round. That's a lot of wrestling.
You gotta be able 90 seconds of wrestling.
That's a lot of wrestling for 1 round. It's going to be 0 seconds of wrestling with Armen, and there were 2 submission attempts he had to get out of.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair. He's probably not gonna.
I don't think he death gasses. I don't think there's any real evidence in a striking match
in this fight. But what? Well, hold on. But what if Bruno's trying to wrestle him like you guys were thinking?
I'm just arguing. I'm not projecting him to wrestle. But if one guy in this matchup was going to, for reference, Brunno has attempted 1.42 per 5 minutes at distance. He's landed 1 on 17%. So, I mean, he shot about 8 takedowns total. I mean, that doesn't mean I want him doing it consistently. But if there was someone in this fight that was going to wrestle that I think, and I don't think he's going for a submission, he's the Hulk. He smashes. It's ground and pound or get into half guard. Like, he's done it on the regional too. We've seen him ground and pound, not just striking on top from distance. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just begging the question. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, not at all.
I think it's valid.
I do get nervous down the stretch. I don't know how you couldn't get nervous down the stretch, though.
But I'm not nervous because I think that if you start throwing kicks without anything behind it, and I know Armen throws in combination, well, you also have to be in the pocket to receive what's coming back from the guy that has a longer reach.
Yeah,
so to get off volume, you're exposing yourself defensively.
That was the other thing I felt. I felt like after getting spinning back fist knocked out, your chin is getting worse. Your age is getting up there. And then this guy with a longer reach, throwing in combination, could end up clipping you somewhere in like late round 1, round 2.
Brunno's last knockout win by spinning back elbow. You said Armen doesn't like spinning stuff?
I guess not.
All right. Just curious. I'm just saying.
So Armen, he wasn't like out cold against.
No. He just kind of like goes to all fours and like Shara doesn't even go to follow up. It's just embarrassing.
It was just over. He was just
embarrassing.
I mean, he wouldn't have defended himself well if you come in with like a good.
No. It was good that they stopped the fight, but I'm just saying it's not like he got like fucking flatlined where it's like you've got to like. Oh my God, this guy's chin is fucked.
He did on the regional, though. Did you see that one? He got flatlined because he exchanges in the pocket with 0 defense and dies.
But, I mean, he's fought big hitters since. I mean, he's fought Dobson. He's fought Gregory Rodriguez. He's fought.
All right, that one's valid. The other one was not valid.
You don't think Dobson can throw?
Not the same way that Brunno can. Does he have is his whole career round 1, round 2 knockouts also? No.
Dobson? Yeah.
No, AJ Dobson? No. He's not.
It is. Look at his record heading into the UFC. It's all
right. But he hasn't replicated it. Whereas Brunno still has all round 1 knockout wins in the UFC.
I mean, that's fair. I think if you remove the Rodriguez fight, though, Brunno looks pretty unimpressive.
Well, you can't take it out though because Armen goes life and death with RoboCop, and there's an argument the other way. We could do it all night, so we're gonna move on.
He kills Phil Hawes like he's supposed to, and he kills Dustin Stoltzfus like he's supposed to, and fends off the grappling. It's an interesting fight. To your point, I mean, again, like Brunno hasn't proven enough, but he's also the underdog.
Yeah, I'm taking the shot.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know a ton of people that are on Brunno, but even in the Phil Hawes and Stoltzfus fights, he wasn't winning those fights.
Right, wrestling threat.
That's right.
I mean, Stoltzfus was outstriking him, dude.
With the wrestling threat, because you have to think about takedown defense.
Bro, he was teeing off on him standing, and then
he doesn't have great defense. TV scouting MMA.
I don't
think Armen has as much power as these other guys.
I think they're both flawed, but I mean, like,
I
don't think that like the wrestling threat is what's like. Brunno's obviously flawed with his defense. Like, they're both flawed, but like I don't think that like he needs a wrestling threat. I don't think the wrestling threat is the cause of his poor kickboxing skills with his defense. Like, if I had to guess, but
that's interesting.
He does have way more horsepower. So I would probably. So now that you've talked about it a little more, I would say since he has more horsepower, he has more finish upside. He is an underdog. You would think he's probably the side, honestly. So I would say he's probably the side. It's just something feels odd about it to me.
I understand.
And I actually understand that too, especially because, like, you know, I was actually thinking, I was like, you know what, Armen Petrosyan might even have or should have theoretically better striking defense. And when you look at the stats, they're the fucking same.
He gets hit. He definitely
which is not good for his style of MMA.
It's fair.
You don't want him to get hit. He should be more like, you know, Prime Wonder Boy, not getting hit. But
and with the reach.
Sean, we've gotten long with you, man, which I'm not even saying in a bad way. Like, it hadn't even, I just looked up and I saw it. It didn't even feel like it. You totally get the idea of how this show works. It's a conversation.
I love it. I gotta eat though. So let's run.
Exactly. Last one. Djorden Shakur. Is it Tupac or is it Santos? It's for you to find out. And then we've got going off the rails on a crazy train like Ozzy Diaz.
That's not bad.
Just like we did before, going off the rails on a crazy
train. He looks like fluffy there.
He does. Wow. He's got a little fluff to him as well. Here's what I will say. Looking at the tape on this matchup, you know, I'm not sure that there's really a distinct enough advantage on the Djorden Santos side. And seeing him coming at plus 340 on the Contender Series versus a kicking merchant from a, you know, organization where we've produced plenty of British frauds over time. And Santos shows a really good ability to stuff takedowns, to grapple defensively, and to strike at multiple levels. I don't think he's a special athlete. I do think he's at a solid gym with the Bonfim Bros. But there's a little bit that I think Ozzy Diaz's size and his ability to work back from trouble. And yeah, he could get in a lot of trouble here. And that's where Santos at minus 198. Like, if you're watching an Ozzy Diaz fight, you're probably going to see him on the mat at some point, not feeling good about himself. But the majority of those fights, he also comes back and does something for it. Joe Pyfer, beautifully timed check hook. After Pyfer kind of starts slowing down and looking like, you know, Diaz starts to try. His coach yells at him, "Come on, Ozzy, go run at him." And he runs at him and he gets knocked out. So not ideal. And then Zhang Mingyang, hey, buddy, you want to join the UFC? All right, come fly out to Macau. You're fighting the fucking mountain tiger in his home territory. It's like, all right. I mean, okay, so those are his two losses. A couple guys with legitimate knockout power at the UFC level. Djorden Santos, while he's landing heavy, and Will Curry, you know, he's one of those prospects that could probably take a beating and not go out. I'm not 100% convinced that we see a knockout from the Santos side. And in that case, Diaz might have more volume. And there's an outside chance. I don't think either of these guys wrestle. So I'm not looking for that. But, you know, if Djorden Santos were to like start shooting takedowns, Diaz isn't just going to quit in those positions. He'll at least fight and work. And we do see that in the Pyfer fight. So I'll give it to him. He's not the best fight IQ. He's not the best striker. But Diaz, he is kind of a crazy train out there. And at the plus money with the huge reach advantage, he's a bit older, so I don't love it. This could be Rafael Cerqueira all over again. So I'm going to be very careful here. What are you guys thinking?
I feel like I need to do more tape on this matchup, but I do remember picking Djorden Santos as a plus 300 dog on Dana White Contender Series. So, yeah, I mean, it just, again, that
is not good.
No, exactly. That's just kind of what I came away with. I didn't love that from Will Curry. I mean, again, and I had also picked against TV Scouting MMA. I picked Joe Pyfer over Ozzy Diaz back in the day, Dana White Contender Series style. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think moving down weight classes here is a good thing for Ozzy. I just don't know how good he is, and if he's just kind of desperate to save his career, which I would assume he is. Would I be really surprised to watch him lose by knockout to Jordan Santos and then be on roster watch on Tuesday? No. So more tape is probably necessary, but I'm not exactly rushing to the window.
Yeah, I taped it a couple weeks ago thinking I was going to play Santos, but I just left thinking it's a pass. I don't think either guy's very good. Santos is probably better. He's probably the justified favorite, slight favorite. I don't know about minus 200, but Ozzy's just very uncoordinated and awkward to me, and I'm not sure what he's super good at. So I can't really bet on that guy, but I think Santos is a fade in the future. He obviously is going to be sticking around, whereas Ozzy probably going to be a quick departure, like you said. So just pass it. Just pass. Just pass this one, guys.
Well said, man.
I think it's Santos or pass, though, probably, honestly.
Yeah, he's probably the guy the UFC wants to get behind more.
I like
sacrificial lamb.
I love a little classic favorite or pass.
Favorite or pass. Throw them in your 8-team parlays, guys.
There we go.
And if it goes wrong, you could just restart right away. All right. Well, you guys did it. You made it. This has been a banger of a show. Hope you enjoyed the heavy hitting analysis. And if you're left considering what to do, we hope we push you one direction or another, depending on what your vibes are. We really have a great time doing this content, and we're bringing you more hard-hitting analysis each week on a split level. So Guru's got his gut reaction. I'll do TB's tail of the tape. And we're going to make sure you guys have a good primer and a good post-event reaction video to have some fun with, because that's realistically it's what we're here to do. So if you guys want to support us, the best way, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's all free. If you're crazy enough to give us your money, that's your own choice and your own decision to make. But all of our content will remain free, and we hope you guys enjoy it. That's all we ask.
Give them money. Give them money, guys. Come on.
Give us your money. No,
2 hours? 2 hours? Come on.
We have to. We do honestly give us your money because we have to pay Sean for his time. We did give him a fairly sizable booking fee.
Yeah. Sure.
But Sean, before we let the Guru take this away the proper way, what do you got to say to the people? Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, no, this is great. Always good talking with you guys. Just follow me on Twitter at Sean Orr. I'll post up a video every so often just with a passionate take. And then me and John Stargarian, we're going to start doing a show on Thursday. So look out for that. So next Thursday, I'll be doing some kind of a show. I don't know what time it is. I think it's probably a lot earlier than this show because he's usually going to bed earlier because he has kids. So yes. I'll post. I'll make sure we don't compete, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to talk to him. It's his show. So
very nice.
Oh, is that the Combat and Cocktails show?
Yeah.
Listen, hey, if you need a guest, we can put down some cocktails. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah.
That's funny, man. I appreciate you, man. Seriously, that was really awesome. I think you totally get the idea of the show. I think if we ever hung out in person, we'd have a good time. Hopefully, one day that does get to happen because we've hung out with John before. So that was great. Yeah, it's very funny, nice guy.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Seriously, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, go get something to eat. Take care, brush your hair. I'll see you guys next week for Blaydes versus Vettori 2 in the Apex. We got Johnny K coming through. Johnny K picks. But guys, seriously, thanks so much for joining us. You can follow TB over on Twitter, Pickett, Tapology, and BetMMA, and maybe Instagram too if you'd like. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Pickett, Instagram, Tapology, and BetMMA, and of course, Verdict, where I got a belt last week, and TB can't figure out his fucking login
because I don't care. Doesn't make any money, so I don't care.
But it's fine.
Don't lie, you're jealous.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'm betting his what? Yeah, it's a belt. You should be. How many belts do you have, TB? You don't even fucking know. You put all in that. There's years worth of work. Oh.